Hi guys, welcome to Enroll to Heaven, where I talk everything Bible. So the other day I was telling the story of Joseph to my boys. Now when I tell Bible stories to my children, I try to tell it directly to them. I don't use picture books or Bible story books with lots of pictures in them. Now I have nothing against these books. I just prefer to tell my kids to them outright from my mouth so that they can use their imagination as they are listening to the story. That way, I found out that they ask so many questions and I can sort of gauge their understanding. So, anyways, I was telling them the story of Joseph. I had read the story earlier to sort of not miss any details. And my God, I was shocked. I was shocked at how easily this story can happen in modern life, now in the 21st century. Of course, there aren't any slave traders. Maybe there are still a little bit here and there, but there aren't a lot of slave traders nowadays who will exchange a human being for money, but still, the amount of sibling rivalry described in the story of Joseph is real. I speak from experience. I have seen siblings literally hate each other and do horrible stuff to each other. I have seen parents put one child up against each other. It's so common in many parts of the world, and I just appreciated how real the Bible puts the story. So I blame Jacob, the father of Joseph in the other case, for creating this mess. One, he had multiple wives. This will never work. This will never create harmony and peace in the extended family. It's a sure recipe for disaster. We can say that Jacob was forced into polygamy. He only wanted Rachel, the Bible makes it clear, but Laban, Rachel's father, wouldn't let him marry Rachel without marrying her sister Leah first. And then his two sister wives, Rachel and Leah, in an attempt to have more children, forced him to take their maidservants as wives. So now poor Jacob has found himself with 4 wives and 12 kids. It wasn't an easy life for Jacob too. Later, much later, at the end of his life, when he had the opportunity to meet Pharaoh, the ruler of Egypt, and Pharaoh asked him how old he was, Jacob confessed that his years had been difficult. King James put it very well. He said, my days have been short and evil, unlike my fathers. So yeah, polygamy will never make a man happy. I know that there are some Christian sects or cults who advocate for polygamy, but it will never make. Of course, the women definitely are not going to be happy, and even the man will find himself in Jacob's shoe, saying that his years had been evil and short. As an African proverb says, a husband of two will die while going from one to another. So polygamy being the number one reason for all this mess. And I made sure to transfer this message to my kids as a Christian person, as a Christian household. Polygamy, we can never flirt with polygamy, especially in these days where a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of social media accounts are advocating for polyamory, polygamy this, polygamy that. No, it's not for us. Jacob's favoritism also played a huge role in creating the bitter enmity among Joseph and his brothers. Jacob made it evident that he loved Joseph more. Joseph was Rachel's son, Jacob's beloved wife. Joseph was born while Jacob was getting old. Jacob loved him and showed everyone how much by getting him the fanciest robe he could get his hands on. A robe the Bible describes as a coat of many colors or a richly ornamented coat. Talk about adding fuel to the fire. The brothers were bitterly jealous of Joseph, but that wasn't all. The last, and I believe the thing that nailed the coffin of Joseph's future, was when Joseph himself started sharing his dreams with his brothers. The dreams were from God. They didn't require a special set of skills to be interpreted. They were very plain. They implied that Joseph was going to rule over his brothers. Now, I know Joseph was young. He was only a teenager, but why are you going on telling your brothers your dreams, antagonizing them further by telling them all these fancy dreams that you're having? If this isn't a classic case of oversharing, I don't know what it is. Now, let's compare Joseph to Mary, the mother of Jesus. She was also young when she gets the angelic visitation, but she didn't open her mouth. I'm sure Mary, choosing to be discreet and not talk too much about the wonderful things happening in her family, spared her the jealousy of some people. This is what stood out to me most, and this is what I told my kids. Joseph talked, Joseph paid the price for talking. In fact, just when they were about to sell him to the Ishmaelites, his brothers referred to him as a dreamer, and they said, "Here comes a dreamer, let's kill him and see what comes of his dreams." Joseph's story is long and beautiful. I got so much life lessons from it. I started out to simply tell a story to my kids, but while I was narrating the story, I was like, oh my goodness, the Bible is so real and it's so rich. Thank God for the Bible and for the ability that we have to not only read it, but to understand it, each in our own language. Amen.